let's go through this step by step, because step one is really understanding who you're targeting. Okay, so who is your target market? And this is so critical when you start to think about advertising. So instead of just seeing an opportunity and going, I'm going to spend some money on Facebook ads, think about who you're trying to target first, because it'll make your marketing much more, targeted. If you're going to target past customers, then that's easy. Who are you going to target? I'm going to target past customers, and then you can write down about, what was it that made them a customer? What was the problem that they had? And, what do they look like? You can get very clear about that. If you're targeting a new group, then you're going to have to do a bit of research. You're going to have to go, well, who are they? Where do they live? What do they look like? How much money do they have? What sort of jobs do they hold? What sort of cars do they drive? What sort of restaurants do they visit? What sort of life do they lead? Do they have kids or not have kids? Are they young? Are they old? Are they male? Are they female? You're going to have to think about it in detail. Now, the way that I like to do this is I like to think about, when I'm thinking about who is my customer, is I like to think about my favorite customers and then start writing down what their attributes are when I'm building who my ideal client looks like, because you really want to think about who they are. And then, here's some questions that you can ask. You can write these down if you want. How old are they? Very important, because different age brackets will respond to marketing in different ways. A lot of people actually are surprised how many older people are responding to Facebook marketing. So don't think for a minute that you can't use Facebook to reach older people, because you can. My mum is in her 70s, late 70s, and she's on Facebook. My dad is 80 this year. He's on Facebook. What problems do these people have? I already took you through that POD formula. If you don't know what problem you solve, then you're in trouble. You've got to start there. You've got to understand what it is you are solving. Nobody buys anything without it being a solution. It doesn't matter what it is, right? So you've got to be really clear about what problem it is that you're solving. What is their financial status? So if they're, if you're going to market your business in an area where they don't have a lot of money, then you might need to have finance options as well. Things like Afterpay. I mean, look at Afterpay, how that has taken off. Just goes to show you that you give people the ability to be able to afford things in a different way, and they'll grab it with both hands. And sometimes that can be, the challenges that people are faced with. I remember my very first sales job was selling Kirby vacuum cleaners. I don't know if anyone has heard of them, or maybe you own one. But we used to go deliberately. They would send us into low socioeconomic areas where they knew that there was no way they were going to be able to afford these machines. And they were $2,500 vacuum cleaners. I'm talking 30 years ago. And we would sell them to people using Avco Finance. Now, Avco Finance had an interest rate that was ridiculous. They probably just made heaps of money out of that. I don't know. But if it wasn't for the finance, we wouldn't have sold any. But it was the fact that we could say it's just $12 a week or whatever it was at the time, So, if you understand their financial status, it can really help you craft your message better. And we'll be able to robbers. Yeah, Avco were robbers. Yeah. What career do they have? What sort of career are they? Are they, blue collar, white collar professionals? Are they tradies? Are they nurses, doctors? You work out what they are. What values and beliefs do they have? Sometimes it's good to understand that. Where do they live? Geographically, where are they located? Understand that. How do they look for information? Do they use Google, YouTube, ask friends? Are they, are they more careful? Do they go to trusted advisors? Does my marketing plan need to have joint venture partnerships as part of it? Do I need to be reaching out to accountants or to maybe real estate agents, or, who do I reach out to? What connections do they have? Are they, connected to other parents? Are they connected to schools? Are they connected to hospitals? Are they connected to libraries? What are they connected to? Associations, for example. If you are targeting a particular group of people, maybe they belong to an association, like accountants, for example, they belong to associations. I know that even for Rowan, who's in termite control, he would belong to a group that's a pest association. So, there's all these different groups that you could maybe target with your marketing as well. Communication style. So, once again, look at, do they like reading stuff, hearing stuff? Are they listening to podcasts? Are they watching YouTube? And what are their human needs? Okay, so understand these 10 things are critical if you're going to get really good with your marketing. And you can't do anything beyond this point until you've answered these questions. If you do, I guarantee you will lose money on your marketing because you don't understand who you're targeting. Okay, you've got to get crystal clear about who it is you're targeting. Otherwise, you'll waste your money. Once you know who they are, you'll have a better chance of knowing where to find them. And that's the key. It is 100% the key. Now, I don't know how many of you fish. I'm not a huge fisherman, but I understand a bit about fishing. And when you go fishing, you got to have the right size hook. You got to have the right bait, the right line, the right rod. You got to be in the right location. You got to fish at the right time for that particular species. And the same thing applies to marketing. Sort of like fishing. Once you know who you're targeting, then you can work out when to target them. So if your target market, let's say, is parents of young children, running your campaigns during school holidays might not be the smartest move. Yeah, maybe that would be a bad move. So knowing a little bit more about your prospects enables you to make decisions about your marketing. So, when you know who, then the where gets a lot easier. So step 2. So that was step 1. This is step 2 of this 5-step process. Step 2 is to try and work out where you will find them in their highest concentration. Okay. So once you know who they are, you can start to think about where would they be? Are they in online groups? I've seen amazing success stories. Like there's a group in Sydney and it's called Northern Beaches Mums. There's one called Hills Districts Mums. These are groups that are on the internet, on Facebook, and they have tens of thousands, if not over, I think maybe even over 100,000 members in each group. And these groups have been built purely for the ability to market business through them. There's a group called Business, which has, last time I looked, about 45,000 members in it. That group was started by people that serve as business owners through their mentoring, coaching, and I think maybe advisory services or something. So, you can find them in these groups, and these groups, you don't have to start them because they're already there. Go and find these groups, join those groups. So if you want to find mums, for example, go and join one of these big mums groups. They're already there. What magazines are they reading? What other things are they doing? Are they hanging around, in what circles are they? Are they going to cafes? Are they, what are they doing? Are they going to the chemist? That's one example if you're trying to target mums. If you're trying to target business owners, where are they? Where are business owners? If you're trying to target homeowners, well, where are they? They're at home, right? So you've just got to slowly think about where you'll find them in the highest concentration. And that'll help you decide then when you start to do your marketing as to where you put your message and you start to measure it. All right, step 3 is then what is your offer going to be and what do they want to buy? Okay. So 2 what questions you've got to ask is what is your offer going to be and what do they want to buy? Now, this is a classic example of where most people fail when it comes to building a marketing plan. Your offer has got to stop them in their tracks and make them take action. And I've seen people that have thought I was crazy. I remember years and years ago when I first started coaching, maybe I was 3 or 4 years into being a business coach, I brought on a client that was in a music school. And this music school, they would sell a group. They were group lessons for learning piano, was what they did, and they would sign people up, I think, by the term. I think that was how it worked. And their biggest challenge was that number one, the advertising wasn't working. They were spending $800 a month, or maybe bi-monthly, around about that, with a publication called Sydney's Child, which you may know. So they're spending this money with that publication, and they were getting a couple of customers from it, but those customers would sign up, they'd do one term, and then invariably the child would quit and they wouldn't get a return on investment. So every time they ran the ad, they were actually losing money. And so I said, well, the first problem is your ad doesn't have an offer. It was a nice ad. I can't remember what it said, but it was a pleasant ad. It spoke about teaching your child how to play music and and how good that was for them. And it definitely got calls, and we converted those calls into customers, but it didn't turn into a profitable marketing campaign. So when I started working with this lady, I said to her, we need to shake it up a bit. We need to make a strong offer. We need something that we can give away when people come and join your music class, your music school. And she was like, well, what could we give away? I said, well, what does everybody need when they're learning to play piano? Well, they probably need a piano. She said, well, I can't give away pianos. I said, well, can you? Can we do a deal maybe with a supplier and see if we can come up with a way to encourage people to ring you and to sign up? And so what we ended up, she had a partnership with Yamaha, who make electric keyboards, and she did a deal with them on one of their cheaper models. I think it retailed for about $299. They said, if you buy 20 of them, we'll give them to you for $100 each. And, you've just got to put the Yamaha signs up all throughout your school and, just be a Yamaha partner. So she agreed to this, right? She bought the 20 Yamaha keyboards. We put a new ad in and we said, enroll for the year. So they also had to enroll and pay in advance for a year. You'll get a free keyboard valued at $299. Now, let me tell you that doing that, she thought I was crazy, by the way. I'm going to spend $2,000 giving away keyboards. She thought I was crazy. But what it did was it made people call up, and it made people sign up, and it made people commit for the entire year. So it did two things. It increased our response rate, which reduced our acquisition cost per lead. It increased our conversion rate, which reduced our acquisition cost per customer, and it increased our lifetime value, because to get the keyboard, they had to pay for the year in advance. It also meant that they got through, so the kids got through that period of time where it was frustrating because they didn't learn as fast as they thought they were going to. And they stayed longer after the year because they could actually now play, because they didn't quit when it got hard. So it was a huge upside for that business, just coming up with one offer, thinking about what does the customer want, what's going to encourage them to call me, and how can I use this as a tool to increase my conversion rate. So a few lessons for you there. The offer has got to be a strong offer. It can't be something wussy. It's got to be something that's really valuable. The second thing for you as a business owner, you don't want to be spending retail on something and giving that offer away at the same price. And that's why discounts are stupid. Discounts is you just giving money away, and there's no upside to you. You're better adding value, right? So in your offer, think about how can you offer something that is a low dollar cost value to you, but a high perceived value to the customer. So for example, if I had a restaurant, I could offer a free bottle of wine to every couple that came in for the first time and signed up to my, Italian lovers club, let's say. And that bottle of wine might cost me $15, but I might retail it for $50. All of a sudden, that's my acquisition cost. That helps my conversion rate. And so that's what you've got to think about. When it comes to building an offer, you've got to think about it. Now, if you think about a service station, they make very little money out of fuel. They make huge amounts of money out of expensive Mars bars, milks, and dog food, right? So their offer is fuel. They will get you in the door of fuel. They know you're driving a car and that you need petrol. So their offer is, here's the cheapest fuel. They make cheap fuel. So sometimes, having a cheaper price is a good marketing strategy if it is going to lead to getting more sales. But you've got to have a good back-end sales process to lift that up. Another offer that we put in place for that music school that also worked really well is we guaranteed that within the first term, your child would be able to play a song. And we didn't say how complex it was going to be, but we guaranteed it. And so that gave the parents some comfort that their child was going to actually achieve something quickly, because that's what they wanted. The other thing that does, by the way, those two offers, but the keyboard and that guarantee, is that it makes it very difficult for the competition to copy, because a lot of people would not be comfortable with that. And then we actually said, we guarantee your child will learn a song in its entirety in their first term, or you will get your money back and you get to keep the keyboard. Now, that sounds like a huge risk, but it isn't, because then we had some conditions around it. They've obviously had to turn up to each lesson. And there was, they had to guarantee they were going to practice 1 hour a week. So all the things that they would say yes to when they started, And let nobody ever calls in on the guarantee. They never did. So very, very good offer, good, strong offer is what you need in your marketing. Without a good offer, you're not going to get people taking up your offer. Now, when it comes to offers, I like to teach people this offer gradient that, a low involvement will give you a higher response but lower quality. So I talked about my Facebook marketing before and the leads that we generate. They're only $3 something a lead. But what we're giving away on Facebook is a business plan template. That's our offer, and we give it away for free. So low involvement, got to give us their name, email address, and their phone number. They get a download for free. So the quality's a bit lower. When you do something like this webinar, higher involvement, right? So you get less people opting in because it's a higher involvement. So you're going to get a lower response, but it's higher quality, okay? A higher quality lead. So we're building a relationship. I can, one of my team or myself can talk to you after today and you'll know who we are. You're a better quality candidate to deal with us. And you're more likely to spend time now, getting to learn more about what we can offer you and how we can help you grow your business. Okay. And that's the benefit of this. So you just got to think about, and you don't want one or the other. It's about having a mixture, but make sure you've got both working in your business. You want to get those higher quality leads. So, and there are people that are just ready to buy what it is you have, right? So when you make your offer, make sure that you are allowing people who are just ready just to buy from you. Don't make them jump through hoops. You hear about this, this marketing funnel stuff, tripwires and whatever, especially a lot of it comes out of the US where there's people over there selling these programs where you have this marketing automation where people go through 7 steps and there's tripwires and there's a $7 product and there's this. It actually is unnecessary for someone that is ready to buy from you. You don't need to take them through all those hoops if they're ready to go. So give them the opportunity to deal directly straight with you. Even our low quality leads that we generate on Facebook for $3 something each, we don't do anything except ring them after they download that. We give them a call straight away and say, "G'day, how are you going?" Some of you are probably here because you did download one of those originally. That's how you've ended up here. You might not even remember doing that, but that's, you would have got the email today because of that. So once you're in our system, you get the ongoing marketing and eventually, hopefully you'll buy. Now, you don't have to be rich or even smart to come up with a clever offer. I love this one here. You just got to come up with something that is going to get people's attention and make them want to respond to you. All right. Very, very important. So don't think that you can't come up with a great offer because you can. All right. Step 4. Why do they want to buy it and why buy from you? Okay. So now if you think about the previous 3 steps, we've worked out who they are, we've worked out where they are, and we've worked out what are we going to offer them. Now, what I want you to think about is why do they want to buy it? So what problem are they solving? And why are they going to want to buy it from you? As opposed to the competition. Why would they choose you? Or there's plenty of people fighting for people's money, right? So you got to say to yourself, well, why would they choose me over the competition? And why would they choose my solution over maybe a different solution? Because there could be different ways of solving a problem. So giftware, for example, is a classic example. I could buy jewelry, or I could buy tools, or I could buy art, or I could buy clothing, or I could buy a voucher, or I could buy there's plenty of places that they could choose to buy from. So you got to say, well, why would they buy from you? The second part of this is then what makes you unique. So what's your unique selling proposition, your USP, or your point of difference? And this is so critical because if you don't have some way of differentiating yourself, then all you will do is compete on price. And as I said before, price competition is a race, and it's a race to the bottom. It's a race you do not want to win. Can't stress that enough. What you want to do is you want to work out how to make yourself so unique that people are compelled to buy from you. And I'll give you an example that you can probably all relate to. Anybody have any frustrations with tradies? I don't know if there's any plumbers on here. I don't think so. Let's pick on plumbers for a second. Has anybody here had any issues getting a plumber? And if so, what are your frustrations? Put it in the chat box for me. If you've had to hire a plumber in the past, what are your frustrations? Tell me what they are. And if there is any plumbers watching, then you can learn from this. All right. In the chat box for me, think about when you've had to hire a tradie or a plumber, something like that, and what your frustration was. Pop it in the chat box for me. Don't be shy. All right. Answers starting to come through. Overquoted, says Michael. Yep. That's a common complaint, isn't it? Got charged too much. Yep. What else have we got? Put in the chat box for me. What else have we got? How about not turn up? Anybody had that happen to them before or arrive late? Yep. Okay, good. What else? Yeah, not turn up on time. Yep. A couple of you saying that now. Yep. Okay. Anybody had them be messy? A couple of messy ones there. Yep. Okay. So there's a few frustrations, right? So, and this is pretty typical. These are the answers I typically get when I ask this question about tradies: is overquoted or charged too much. They were messy, so they left the place messier than when they arrived, and they weren't on time. They were late. They, they ran extremely late or didn't turn up at all. Is another one that we hear, which I think is just terrible. You want to get business? Turn up. It's not too hard. So imagine you've got to call a plumber, and you do a quick Google search for a plumber in your area, and a few ads pop up. But there's one that stands out to you because straight away in the Google search results, it says, at last, a plumber that turns up on time, charges you a fixed price, and will leave your place cleaner than when we arrived, or you'll pay nothing, guaranteed. If you see that, that tells you that plumber is different, and you'll ring them. Now, if you saw that and you rang that plumber, would you be prepared to pay them more than another plumber because of that uniqueness? Yes or no? Would you be prepared to pay more? And in fact, a better way to ask this question is, have you ever paid more because you bought from somebody you already know, like, and trust than buying it from somewhere else that when you could have got it cheaper? Well, the answer for that is, once again, it's a rhetorical question. I can guarantee you it's yes. So, if you can create a point of difference that allows you to be able to be so different to your competition. Now that would scare a lot of plumbers to create that guarantee. I have helped plumbers create guarantees like that and other tradies where it scared them, but it works. The reality is it works. And the reason it works is because everything that you do to make yourself unique should also reduce the risk in dealing with you. Okay, so you don't want to be unique for the wrong reasons. You want to be unique because of the things that you do. There's a great book called The Happiness-Centered Business. It was written by a dentist. His name's Dr. Paddy Lund. And you should read this book. It's called The Happiness-Centered Business. But he runs a dental clinic up in Queensland, and he charges like heaps more than any other dentist. I'm talking like 10 times more. And what makes him different is the way that he runs his dental practice. The only way you can come in is if you've booked in, which is not that unusual. When you get there, the door is locked. You have to, buzz in. They let you in. You then, when you get in, you go into the waiting area and you smell the fresh smell of buns baking. So that's the first thing he does. He knows that people don't like the smell of dental laboratories. So he makes it. He bakes buns in the foyer. Right? He's got an oven there, and he bakes buns there so everyone can smell these beautiful buns baking. The next thing that he does is before you go in for your dental appointment, what he does is he will play your favorite music, and we'll put you into a little separate room just to let you relax. So you'll go in there, he'll give you a cup of tea or whatever it is you like, your favorite beverage, and put you into a room, like a pre-prep room with your favorite music to relax. And then when you come into the clinic to get your dental work done, he continues to play that music and just looks after you like there's just like your VIP, because you are to him. Now, the only way you can get into Dr. Paddy Lund's surgery is through referral. So every customer, once they've been a good customer, will get a pack of referral cards that they're allowed to then hand out to some of their friends. It's the only way you can become a customer. You can't ring up and book in. You can't contact him through his website. The only way you can become a customer is if somebody gives you one of these VIP cards. Pretty incredible, isn't it? Now, if somebody had told you that that's how they were going to build their dental business, you would probably tell them they're crazy. but he built the most successful dental business in Australia. So it's called The Happiness Centered Business, Dr. Paddy Lund. Get the book, and that'll teach you a lot about creating your unique selling proposition. But you have to be unique. Otherwise, you will not be able to take the prospect's eye off the price. That's all they'll see is price. And that's, if somebody's saying to you, what does it cost? You've got to say, okay, besides that, what else is important to you? Because whilst cost is important, that's not the most important. All right, step 5. Once you've worked out all those other things, now you can decide how you're going to get your message out there. Okay, so now is when you go, well, is Facebook the right place for me? Is a direct mail letter the right thing for me? Is YouTube the right channel for me? Is Instagram? Is JV partners? Is how am I going to get this? Is webinars the right avenue for me? Only at this point, once you really know who it is you're targeting, what it is they're going to buy, why they're going to buy from you, and what you're going to offer, can you then say, well, how am I going to get it out there? This is where most people start, by the way, is they choose their platform where they're going to market first because it's exciting. Like when people come to us in the digital marketing business, they go, I want help with my Facebook, putting my Facebook posts up. And I go, why? Why is that your big focus? Certainly, it can be helpful. It could be a good strategy, but why have you decided that? Well, I don't know. Everyone else is doing it. Well, that's not a good reason. Okay. The reason that you want to the reason you want to put it there is because you know that that's where they are, that's where they're going to see it. And that these people are going to respond to your offer. Okay. Really, really important.